What if the person you trusted most in your most vulnerable moment was the one who betrayed you? What if the healer turned predator, and the safe place, the hospital, became the very stage for your deepest violation? This is not fiction. This is the story of Dr. Zhi Alan Cheng, a man once sworn to heal, whose secret life shattered lives and trust in ways almost too disturbing to imagine. Dr. Cheng was not just any doctor. At 35, he was a gastroenterologist at one of New York's most respected hospitals, NewYork-Presbyterian Queens. To his colleagues, he was bright, promising, well-educated. To his patients, he was the man they entrusted with their health, often unconscious on a table, believing they were in the safest hands possible. For a while, his life appeared flawless, a career on the rise, an apartment in Astoria, and the respect that comes with a white coat. But behind this polished image, there existed a darkness few could have ever imagined. The normal world, the world everyone saw, was one of bustling hallways, sterile operating rooms, patients prepped and reassured before procedures. The quiet hum of machines, the soft rhythm of heart monitors, the trust in the air between patient and doctor. It seemed routine, safe, almost mechanical. But behind the curtain, hidden from sight, Cheng was building an archive of nightmares. He wasn't just treating patients, he was recording them. He wasn't just prescribing medications, he was stockpiling drugs, not for healing, but for control.
In June, we reported on 2 women allegedly drugged and violated on video by Dr. Zhi Alan Cheng. Now the Queens DA says videos have been seized from this doctor's Astoria apartment depicting sex crimes against at least 11 other female victims, and some of those victims are still unknown to investigators.
The revelation came not from police or hospital officials, but from a woman who had known Cheng personally.
They put me in front of like 4 doctors, and they said, "Identify who it is." I said him, because he was there standing up.
She stumbled across videos on his phone, horrific, undeniable evidence of women, unconscious, powerless, violated. Some were his acquaintances, women who trusted him enough to be in his apartment. Others were patients, their lives placed in his care inside hospital walls. Each video was a betrayal, each moment filmed without consent, each second a distortion of what medicine is meant to be. It was December 27, 2022, when Cheng's double life finally cracked open. Authorities arrested him after the acquaintance handed over the videos. The images they recovered were damning: sedated patients in hospital gowns, monitors beeping in the background, while Cheng committed the unthinkable. In his apartment, the backdrop shifted, but the cruelty did not. There, women lay unconscious, drugged, with a brown bottle visible beside the bed, likely sevoflurane, a sedative powerful enough to erase memory, to silence resistance. What investigators found went far beyond 1 or 2 victims. There were storage devices filled with recordings. Propofol, fentanyl, ketamine, cocaine, LSD, MDMA, an entire arsenal of substances that had no business in his home. Each discovery peeled back another layer of deception, exposing just how long he had lived this double life. The victims came into focus slowly, painfully. A 19-year-old patient, groped under sedation. A 47-year-old, unconscious, vulnerable, her body no longer her own. A 37-year-old, sedated, violated while unaware. A 48-year-old who awoke from her procedure with haunting fragments of memory, realizing she had been assaulted during what was supposed to be a healing process. And beyond the hospital walls, women he met through dating apps, women who thought they were safe, only to wake with gaps in memory and a deep, unsettling knowledge that something was wrong. The legal battle was heavy, filled with evidence too disturbing for most to bear. By the time the Queens District Attorney's Office pieced it all together, Cheng faced more than 50 counts of sexual abuse, rape, and related charges. The videos, the drugs, the testimonies, all stood against him. And yet, the courtroom became not just a place of punishment, but of painful compromises. In June of 2025, Cheng entered guilty pleas: 4 counts of first-degree rape, 3 counts of first-degree sexual abuse, and an Alford plea to 1 additional charge. An Alford plea, where the defendant doesn't admit guilt but acknowledges the evidence could convict them. For some, it was a bitter technicality in a case already dripping with betrayal. In court, Cheng finally spoke. For the first time since his arrest, he apologized. The words hung heavy in the room, the apology of a man who once held life and trust in his hands, now stripped of everything but shame. Some listened, some could not. For the victims, those words were never enough to restore what was taken. The sentence came in August: 24 years in prison, 10 years of supervision after release, and permanent registration as a sex offender. Justice, on paper, had been served. But justice in the hearts of the victims, justice in the form of closure, remained elusive. Because not all were satisfied. Some victims voiced their anger that the plea deal made no mention of other videos the district attorney acknowledged existed, videos showing alleged crimes outside of Queens.
Dr. Cheng going to say what he knows about these other videos of other alleged crimes?
We've already had the opportunity to meet with the district attorney's office, and he's given them everything about them.
Has Dr. Cheng shared what he knows about these other videos that depict other alleged crimes? The Queens DA has not answered questions about...
For them, the deal felt incomplete, leaving pieces of truth locked away in silence. They asked, how many others? How far did this really go? The district attorney told the court something that surprised many. At first, all the victims had supported the plea deal.
Any suggestion that the disposition of this case was not discussed with each survivor prior to the plea is simply false. In fact, no survivor expressed concern or
They wanted resolution, some finality to a case that had stretched for years. But as the dust settled, as the weight of what was not included became clearer, some began to feel that justice had only partially been delivered. The story of Dr. Zhi Alan Cheng is not just about a doctor who fell from grace. It is about trust, the kind of trust we give without question when we're most vulnerable. It's about the hidden darkness that can live behind polished facades. It's about the voices of women who were silenced in their unconsciousness but who spoke loudly when evidence finally emerged. In the end, Cheng will spend decades behind bars. His license is gone, his reputation destroyed, his future erased by the very acts he thought he could hide. But the scars left on his victims, both patients and acquaintances, remain long after the sentencing. The betrayal is permanent. And for the rest of us, this story is a reminder: institutions are only as safe as the people within them. Trust is sacred. To break it so profoundly is to unravel the very fabric of care and humanity. What do we take away from this? That vigilance matters. That silence protects predators, but truth, no matter how painful, forces accountability. And perhaps most of all, that healing is not only about medicine, it is about respect, dignity, and trust. If this story has moved you, share it. Let it be known, not to sensationalize, but to honor the courage of the survivors who stood up, even when unconsciousness was used against them. And if you want to hear more stories that expose the darkest truths and the resilience that follows, subscribe and stay with us. Because the world needs more light where shadows once ruled.